For 11 years, we had built a life together, 2 of them as husband and wife. I believed we were solid, even as she wrestled with the weight of her own unhappiness. For the past 5 years, she had been adrift, struggling with her job, her purpose, and the shadows that loomed over her mind. I did my best to be her anchor, but the effort drained me. And as time passed, she leaned harder on alcohol, drowning in it rather than confronting the storm inside her. Hoping to break free from the rut, we sought counseling. The advice was simple: reignite our passion by chasing our dreams together. She had always longed to live abroad, and though it wasn't the wisest financial decision, I agreed. I took a year off work and followed her overseas, believing that if this was what she needed to heal, I would stand by her. But instead of lifting her spirits, the move only seemed to deepen her sadness. One night, we went out for dinner and crossed paths with a group of American travelers, 3 men and a woman. They were easygoing, the kind of people who made you feel like old friends after just a few drinks. Laughter echoed around the table, drinks flowed freely, and by the time they invited us back to their rental to keep the party going, I saw no harm in it. We sat around playing board games that soon turned into a game of truth or dare. At some point, I stepped away to use the bathroom, and when I returned, my world cracked open. My wife, my partner, my best friend, was tangled in a kiss with one of the men. The room erupted in laughter. "It's just a game, man. Relax," they said. Even she looked at me, grinning through her drunken haze, telling me not to overreact. But I couldn't laugh. I saw what they didn't, the woman I loved slipping away before my eyes. Without another word, I pulled her away from the party, and we rode home in suffocating silence. She mumbled an apology, blaming the alcohol and the stupid game, but I felt the walls of my trust begin to crack. At 4 a.m., I woke up to an empty bed. Panic gripped my chest as I searched the house, calling out her name. She wasn't in the bathroom. Not in the kitchen. Not outside. Then I realized my phone was gone, too. My mind raced with terrible possibilities, my pulse hammering as I paced the living room. 2 hours later, headlights flashed through the window. She stepped out of a car like nothing was wrong. "Where the hell have you been?" I demanded, my voice thick with worry and anger. She hesitated before saying she had left her phone at their place and had taken mine to call for a ride back. She insisted she hadn't wanted to wake me and that she'd only stayed because she had dozed off. But her story didn't sit right. I pressed harder, and her excuses wavered. First, she claimed one of the men had hidden her phone to make her stay, but when I threatened to confront him myself, her story changed again. Finally, she admitted she had chosen to stay. The next day, she confessed in fragments. It wasn't just a kiss. She had let him touch her. Her memories were hazy, she said, but I knew better. The truth was clawing its way out of her, inch by inch, and I was done waiting. Fueled by rage and desperation, I drove back to their rental. I pounded on the door, demanding answers. One of the men tried to dismiss me, but I wasn't leaving without the truth. When I pressed him, he spilled everything. She hadn't just kissed one of them, she had been with 2 of them that night, fully aware of what she was doing. He even had pictures. I wish I hadn't looked. There she was, smiling, her eyes lit with something I hadn't seen in years. Not regret. Not shame. Enjoyment. I drove home with fire in my veins. When I confronted her, she finally admitted it all. She had used the excuse of losing her phone to go back, eager to keep the party going. And in that moment, something in me shattered beyond repair. She begged for forgiveness, blaming the alcohol, her depression, her craving for reckless freedom. She swore she loved me, that she wasn't trying to escape our marriage, only herself. But how could I reconcile that with the betrayal? How could I look at her and see the woman I had vowed to spend my life with when all I saw was the ruin of what we had? I packed my things and booked the first flight home. Now, I'm sleeping on an air mattress in my mom's house, jobless and lost. I haven't told my family the full story, though every part of me wants to scream it to the world. It's easier to tell strangers online than to face the pity and rage of those who love me. We've spoken since. I told her I was filing for divorce, that I would tell the truth if people asked. She pleaded with me not to, knowing my family would cut her off forever. I don't know what I want. I only know that the life I had, the future I imagined, is gone. She says she's working on herself, trying to change. Maybe she is. But I'm done waiting for her to become someone she should have been all along. Therapy starts soon. I'm ready to let go of the ghost of what we were and mourn the future that will never be. What haunts me the most is that after the first kiss, she had a choice, a conscious choice, drunk or not. And she chose to go back, to make it worse, to betray me in the worst way imaginable. No therapist, no excuse, no amount of regret can ever erase that. Today, I'm getting tested for STDs. It's something I never thought I'd have to do, and the very idea of it makes my stomach turn. I haven't touched her since that night, and now I wonder, has she done this before? Have there been others? But really, what's the point in asking when it doesn't change the outcome? We're done. I can't trust her. I can't unsee those photos. And right now, I need space to figure out who I am without her. She keeps asking to meet, but I refuse. I've already made my decision. I'm ending this. The worst part is lying to everyone about why, hiding the truth because of the shame it would bring, to both of us. I've confided in a close friend and my therapist, but even with that, every day feels like a battle. Sleep is gone, and crashing at my mom's house at 33 makes me feel like I've regressed into some lost version of myself, a kid again, untethered and broken. For nearly 25 years, my wife and I built a life together. Married since we were 19, we raised 3 daughters. Our eldest is in college now, while our 15-year-old twins are still at home. Life had its ups and downs, but it was steady. She had her job, her yoga, her pottery. I had my own hobbies. Then, 6 months ago, something shifted. She became distant, even in our closest moments. Saturday mornings in bed felt mechanical, like she was there physically but her mind was elsewhere. Whenever I asked if something was wrong, she brushed it off with a hollow "I'm fine." At first, I didn't suspect anything. I just noticed her taking more time for herself, stepping out alone more often, not her usual vibrant self. Then, a few weeks ago, the pattern reversed. Instead of disappearing, she started lingering around me constantly, hanging out in my office, but she wasn't herself, just a heavy, sad presence, as if she needed to be near me but couldn't bring herself to say why. At the same time, our twins started acting strangely. They were suddenly eager to help, picking up chores they'd never touched before, tiptoeing around me like they were guarding a secret. At first, I thought maybe they believed something was wrong with me, some illness, some crisis I wasn't aware of. That's when I remembered the phone bill. A few months ago, I had noticed an unusual amount of messages to an unfamiliar number. When I confronted her, she claimed it was a friend, but there was no trace of their conversations on her phone. She said she deleted them to free up space, though nothing else had been cleared. I wanted to believe her, but my gut told me something was off. Yesterday, I finally laid everything out for my eldest daughter. She promised to talk to the twins, to get to the bottom of whatever they knew. When she called me back today, her voice was tight, serious. She had gotten through to them. They had told her everything. And what they knew shattered me. My wife hadn't been sneaking around with some coworker or a fellow yoga enthusiast. No, it was worse. It was a man we called a friend, someone married, someone who sat at our table, laughed with us, shared meals with us. And my daughters, our twins, had caught her. They found her when she was supposed to be at yoga. They confronted her, furious and devastated, and she swore to them that it wasn't about leaving me, that it was just a reckless thrill, a stupid mistake that didn't mean anything. She begged them to keep it secret, to protect me from the truth, claiming she would carry the shame so I wouldn't have to. And for a time, they did. They buried it. But it ate at them, twisted them up inside, until my eldest, bless her, couldn't stand it anymore. She forced them to come clean. When I heard it, I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I simply packed a bag, walked past my wife, who was already crumbling, sobbing on the floor, and left. I drove an hour to a cabin in a state park, needing to be anywhere but there. My phone tracker was off, my accounts untouched, so she couldn't follow me. My eldest found me, though. She came by, sat with me, told me she wasn't even surprised. "Mom's always been like this," she said, chasing the next big thing, whether it was yoga, essential oils, or some other fleeting obsession. And now, here she was, just another midlife cliché, blowing up her life for a thrill she couldn't even explain. The twins are furious with her, terrified that I'm never coming back. My wife, on the other hand, refuses to give up. She says she won't throw away everything we've built, that she'll fight for us. But I don't know if there's anything left to fight for. I love the solitude here. The quiet. The trails. I know it's temporary, but for now, it's what I need. She keeps calling, keeps begging me to come home, to fix this together. But if I go back, she'll smother me with love and apologies until I cave, just like she always does. I can already picture it, the self-help books, the pep talks, the endless promises to change. I can't do it. I told her to give me space, but she won't budge. She's already snooping through my accounts, desperate to know where I am. The only people I speak to are my daughters. I told the twins this isn't their fault, that I love them, and they told me their mother has been unraveling, flipping between tears and frantic fix-it mode, scouring the internet for ways to save our marriage. But this isn't something you patch up with a book or a seminar. This is betrayal. I know deep down I could forgive her. I could push past the anger and find a way to coexist. But if I stay, I lose something more important than a marriage. I lose myself. My self-respect is worth more than this. I told her we're done. We agreed to split. The twins know I will always be their father, that they will never lose me. But I can't stay with someone who made me a fool. A good marriage doesn't end up like this.